Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fan Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borgia, alongside co-host Jake Holdzauer, co-host Ben Lahman, and co-host Gabe Layden. Today, we got a fun one. We're going to be talking about some NFL free agency, March Madness, and a bunch of other stuff. But starting us off with our news, Gabe, this is going to be more so in your realm
Okay.
because I have to hit on it because some of it I'm not okay with. They're mostly all of it I'm not okay with. So we're gonna take a dive into the news segment per usual. I wanted to bring up a few UFC fights.
Okay.
So, would you like to give us the rundown on Gaethje beating Fiziev first?
That was exactly the fight that I thought everybody thought it would be, including
I
myself
wanted
and
Gaethje
hopefully.
to throw it out there as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would have been. I mean, Fiziev is really good and he hasn't fought in a while, but I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
would have been the best look for Gaethje. He's getting up there in age. With the crazy knockout his last time around, if Fiziev came out there and dominated, even if he didn't knock him out, I think that's probably the end of his title contention, or I mean, at least for now. But the fact that he was able to come out there, he definitely lost that first, I believe, and then I think he won the second too, if I recall correctly. He looked really good. He still has a chin on him. He got hit with some big shots. I say give him Ilya next. He's won 3 out of his
Really?
last 4, and the last time he lost, it was to Max, who instantly
Wow.
got that featherweight title shot. I
True.
think he deserves some respect. Justin Gaethje deserves a lot of
It's
respect. He's
true.
3 out of the last 4. He's always been in contention at lightweight. Give him like a really big fight in Ilia Topuria next. That's what I say.
I'm gonna
What
bring
do you
up
think?
two more fights, and then I'm gonna bring up something else in that, and then we'll keep on going through this. But the other fight one of the other two fights I wanted to bring up was Marvin Vettori losing to Roman Dolidze. As someone who was wanting Vettori, he hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked good in like his past few fights.
Yeah, it's been tough though because he had such a long uh just break from the sport, right? He was off for like 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. So the last time he fought, I wasn't really watching any UFC the last time he fought. He's a bit of a fool too. He's pretty funny. I know you saw him
Of course.
on media day with his shorts on backwards, and he came out. He walked out without his cup.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something else, but uh, yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid fight. I unfortunately did not get to watch most of that card, but what do you think?
The card wasn't bad overall, but that was the main reason why I was more tuned in. And as of recency, fights just have not gone my way in UFC. But guess what? That's a sign that means I should just bet on whoever I think is gonna win. I should bet on the other guy
It's called an emotional
because
hedge. It's a very smart betting
it's
strategy
just been
because either
happening so much recently to where I
either
just
you
gotta
lose
start
your
doing it.
money and your favorite fighter wins, or your favorite fighter loses, but at least you got some money out of it. It's a smart
Exactly.
strategy.
That's I'm better start doing at this point. Now the last
Let's start
fight,
doing with the Giants last year.
hmm, I know you're about to go off on this fight,
Okay.
but we have to bring it up. Alex Pereira is no longer the champ. So
He
Ankalaev, out of any fighter, Ankalaev.
There seemed to be a clear game plan for Alex Pereira to come out and win that, and it was just chop the leg, right?
In a
Ankalaev
million
had said,
years, I would have never said that he would ever lose to Ankalaev out of
I
any
mean,
fighter.
he looked so good recently, and if you had told me, a couple weeks before the fight happened, if you came to me, somebody from the future came to me and said, "Hey, Ankalaev's the champ," I would have been like, "All right," took him down for 5 rounds, just wrestled him to death. That's really, I wouldn't be too shocked, but the fact you got to give it to Magomed Ankalaev. He came out there and outstruck Alex Pereira. He came out there and
He
outstruck the
did.
best striker in the light heavyweight division, and really, it wasn't even that close. Pereira looked really off, and maybe
He
I don't
did.
really want to say that. Sorry, there's some noises going on outside. But listen, all those rumors about Pereira not really training lead up to the fight, I don't want to say that they're true. Like, he might have just came out there and had an off night, but I mean, he just did not look like the Alex Pereira that we all know.
Definitely agree with that. I think I've also been, not liking it even more because I seen a comment on Instagram where somebody was like, Ankalaev's beating him by 1,000,000, and I was like, "You're like, what are you talking about, bro?"
Yeah. Well,
I
I
was
have
like,
Pereira too.
Pereira's not losing that fight, and then like for the past like week, everyone's been like coming at me like, "Oh, you're just another Poatan fan." I'm like, I'm not even a Pereira fan. I just picked Pereira because he's like, it was the obvious clear pick there, and then he somehow lost.
Yeah, like I said, he had a clear path to victory in the leg kicks, which is something that
Mhm.
Ankalaev had struggled with against Blachowicz, and I'm forgetting some other fighters, but he had struggled with leg kicks before. And Pereira is known for his devastating leg kicks. Just came out there and
Yep.
just he looked flat.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up on UFC, then we're gonna jump around to some other stuff. Jalen Turner officially retired. He's young. He's not that old.
Yeah,
He's like 29. He
I
lost
missed all
like his
the
past 3 fights.
I missed all the Jalen Turner lore, I guess. With him, I wasn't quite a big
I
UFC
was a
fan
Jalen
even.
Turner fan. I am a Jalen Turner fan to
Well,
this
he's such
day.
an interesting fighter in the fact that he's what, like 6'3", and he makes
Hmm.
155 pounds. So he's just towering over every single other fighter in that division. Uh, but he's had
I
some
don't.
issue. He had some issues putting away some fighters in the past. I know that happened with Moicano, where he had the kill shot and he just walked away. But
They're the fighters that he lost to though in his past 3 fights. They're not bad fighters. That's why I don't get why he retired. Like he fought good fighters and lost, and that's gonna happen. You're gonna fight good people and you're gonna lose.
right, looking at this list right now, Matthias Gamrot, we got Dan Hooker, Renato
Ignacio was his
Moicano.
last fight, and Ignacio was good. Dan Hooker is always a tough fight, no matter what age.
Of course. But at some point, I mean, he's taken enough losses at this point in his UFC career that maybe he just doesn't see the shot. Even if he's 29 years old, he doesn't see the shot at a title anymore. He doesn't see that path anymore. But I'm not 100% sure. Did he retire from MMA or just from the UFC? So, like, could we see this guy in
I
Karate
think from
Combat in a couple
MMA.
weeks?
I think it was from
Wow.
MMA. Because the way he
That's,
put it on his Instagram sounded like, yeah, I'm done with the sport.
wow.
It was just crazy to think about. Moving on from there, though, I want to give a quick rundown of names who got moved at the NHL trade deadline. And then I'm going to hit you guys with a hockey question that I got. Because it's real. I think you guys are going to be like, wow, like in shock when I give you the answer to it. So, obviously, Brock Nelson got dealt to Colorado. Mikko Rantanen moves the second time this season and gets sent to Dallas after originally being sent to Carolina. He also signed an 8-year, $12 million AAV deal to stay with Dallas, which is nuts. Dallas is going to be good for years to come with him and Wyatt Johnson. Charlie Coyle went to Colorado as well. Scott Lawton to Toronto. Josh Norris got traded to Buffalo, and then Dylan Cousins got sent in return in that trade. So I think it was a pretty good trade on both sides there. There was the biggest one in Marchand getting dealt to the Panthers. Seth Jones also got dealt to the Panthers. Oliver Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde to the Lightning. Eric Johnson also to Colorado. And now time for the question that I want to drop. Obviously, we are officially, I want to say last time I checked, it's 8 goals off from Ovechkin breaking the record. Do you guys know that Ovechkin's close to breaking 2 Hall of Fame records, and one of them is the goals? He's close to breaking another one as well.
What's the other
Any
one?
idea the stat?
Points?
It's not points.
It's definitely not there in points. It's definitely not like games played.
Mm-mm.
Huh.
Mm.
Is it gonna be something stupid like fights or something?
No, it's not, I don't think it's stupid at all. I mean, it has to deal with kind of the mindset you're thinking of, though, Jake.
Most minutes in the penalty box?
No.
It's
Hits.
wow.
This is true.
That's crazy.
He's about 300 away from the record.
That's
And,
crazy.
I mean, the dude's still getting like 70, 80 hits a season, and he's like 40. That's insane. That's insane. Like,
Yeah.
I need to know what these Russians are built with when they're born. Like, I don't get it, but they're insane. Whether it's UFC, hockey, like these guys are nuts.
That's crazy.
when I seen that post, I was like, there's no way. That's unbelievable. Before we go into our first segment, though, I wanted to give some more because we haven't really done much on it. I wanted to have like a small NBA talk because we haven't done a lot about it. So, I'm just gonna jump around a little bit. How are you feeling about your team, Jake?
I mean, they were doing really good, and then Jalen Brunson got hurt, and that's a little rough. He isn't expected to be back sometime around either right before the playoffs begin or when the playoffs are going on, so that's a bit rough. And they got Mitchell Robinson back, which is huge, but Thibodeau has not played Cat and Robinson at the same time, mainly because Robinson's on like a minute restriction right now. But for them to find success, they need to play both of them on the court at the same time because the defense on the Knicks starting five is not the best right now.
I do agree. Gabe, how are you feeling?
Well, Chris, let me ask you this: which team? Because one of them in the Eastern Conference is absolutely torture to watch, and it's been awful for the past I don't even know how many years. But on the Western side, there's a team that I'm rooting for. That's before last night's loss to the Nuggets, they were 9-1.
To throw a little story to the people that are tuned into the show, there was a whole book. I want to say this was as long as a book written in our group chat between Ben and Gabe about one of Gabe's two teams. It was a literal book of these two just going at it. I thought it was in Call of Duty lobby because it was just back and forth. I'm like, what is going on here? To give some input, Gabe is referring to the Warriors, even though he's a Nets fan. How are you feeling about your Nets?
Terrible, and honestly, abolish the franchise. Like, it's so bad. I don't understand at this point. You had
your boy D'Lo though.
Yeah, that's great, and like he's not even confident that they'll re-sign him, even though he wants to stay in Brooklyn, which is like the only good thing that they have going for him. Him and Nick Claxton. I don't think Cam Thomas is good.
You've been a Cam Thomas hater for a while.
Yeah, he scores, but like, what else does he do? He doesn't. Everybody's calling him the next Kobe Bryant, but like, he hasn't shown anything yet. He really has not shown anything. Like, there's people that have called him like they're not calling him the next Kobe, but they're calling him like some sort of Kobe prototype that's like not as good. But like, don't even
the next Jordan Poole.
Like, he might as well be, because like
Jordan Poole's got good numbers this season.
He actually does. Yeah, I know. He's
like
pretty way more efficient this year. Anyway, yeah.
Cam Thomas is a really good scorer, but he doesn't provide any winning value to the Nets. And just looking at where this franchise was, I'm now a senior, where they were in my freshman, early sophomore year when we were contending for the title. And then now all three of star players go to the trade requests, right? And two of them because of the ownership. Well, really all three of them because of the ownership. What are we doing here? You got to sell the team at this point. Joe Tsai, like, we've gone through a bunch of coaches. We've gone through a bunch of star players, a bunch of big trades, and none of them have worked out how we wanted them to. Get rid of the team.
Ben, how are you feeling about the team that you and me root for?
I feel like I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm actually very happy right now. And I'll tell you why. I'm glad that Daryl Morey got in on probably the worst trade deadline any NBA GM has ever had in the history of the league. And I'm willing to argue that point. Legitimately, you trade away a guy that has the potential to be a top 10 player of all time before he's even starting his prime, one of the best players in the league, for an old player with injury history. Oh, wow, surprise, surprise. He got hurt, Anthony Davis. Who could have seen that coming, him getting hurt? And then the 76ers got a guy in Quentin Grimes, who, by the way, everybody was talking about how bad everybody was talking about how bad that trade was. And I remember telling you guys, I was like, I love this trade. Quentin Grimes is going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. So
he's going to get paid.
He could get paid, but also he's probably going to be on a relatively reasonable deal as a restricted free agent. Like, it's not like he's going to get given a max by anybody, but he's been performing really well, and he hasn't been performing too well to where we win games. We as in the Sixers, and Yeah, the Sixers are doing well in the tank so far. I mean, they've won a few games, but not that many. And right now they have the what is that, fifth or sixth best odds in the lottery? I believe it's the fifth. So, that's kind of their goal because they can't really fall below that. So hopefully they stay there. They got to be top six to keep their pick. And this is a really good draft at the top, in my opinion. There's a lot of talented players this year. I mean, the best guy is the guy at the top, obviously, by far and away, but there's a lot of super athletic wings in this draft that I think would fit really well with the Sixers, and they've really needed a wing for a long time. So this could be a blessing in disguise, especially if they can somehow get rid of the Paul George contract, which I don't know is going to be possible. But if Daryl Morey and look, I don't get all the Daryl Morey slander, to be honest. He's made a lot of really good moves. The Paul George one, I think he was forced to do that by ownership and I mean the fans. Most of the Sixers fans were like, do this, and now they're all saying, "Oh, Daryl Morey sucks because he signed Paul George." But
I
a
mean,
few months ago, everybody was like, "Oh, this is the best signing ever." So,
to be fair though, there was that whole article thing. I'm not sure if you've seen it recently that
I
stated
I
that.
have seen that.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
The thing where it says where he said like all Sixers fans do is be angry, basically, something like
No,
that.
no.
That interview.
It
Do you know what
was
interview I'm talking about though?
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There
that
was a
one.
post. I'm not sure if it was from Bleacher, but one of them, one of the big, like, very relevant sources stated that Daryl Morey uses AI to pick and choose who comes to the team.
Oh yeah. That was part of the same interview. He said, I mean, he said that they use it like to help them aggregate analytics. I don't think it. I think it's a little overblown that they just use AI to get all their players. I think they just use it to.
That's the way a big source put it, and I mean it's a relevant source. So
There's no way Daryl Morey is going into the chat GPT and saying, would Paul George
ChatGPT,
fit in
should I
this
sign
rotation?
Paul George?
Like, there's no way. Like, I have full faith that an NBA GM, regardless of
I
how
do
much you
not
hate
have
him,
full faith.
knows what he's doing.
I mean, ever
That's a
since
huge thing.
the Giants, or which GM was it? One of the GMs said they use Oh no, it was the Jets owner. Said they use Madden ratings,
Madden
like,
ratings.
Oh, yeah.
which, by the way, when he said that, I was not surprised. I actually completely believe that they use Madden ratings to aggregate because I mean it's a good like basis. It saves time because Madden ratings, I mean, they're not great, but they're at least somewhat accurate. So I think it's a good base. I don't think
It's a good way to
it's
justify your decision, right? Like, if you trade for somebody and you're like, oh, he's an 87 overall in Madden, I just traded him for a 79 overall. It's like, at least you feel good about yourself, even if nobody else likes it,
yeah.
I wonder what Nico Harrison
True.
did then when he decided to trade.
Bro,
True.
Nico
All right.
He did
Harrison
a lot
had
of things.
arguably the worst trade deadline I've ever seen from any
If
professional.
he doesn't get fired
That
by
was
the
bad.
end of the year, I'll be surprised.
That was bad. Moving on though into our players of the week. Mine's depressing. So who else is gonna start?
Ooh,
Mine is
I
also
guess
a little
yours.
depressing. So
Yours is depressing. You said you want to start,
probably
Jake?
not as much as yours is, but like it's a little on a sad note.
I think
feel like.
everybody in here should clearly know who mine is gonna be, at least
Yeah.
as of today. Jake,
I think I could guess.
Jake,
first.
you
I
could
can
go for it.
I can go first. Mine's a little bit happy upbringing.
Yeah, enlighten the mood. Enlighten the mood.
Yeah, it might not be for you and Ben because you guys probably hate this guy with the history that you've had with him in the past couple of years. But we were talking about basketball, and I'm gonna choose a basketball player, and it is going to be the guy who did the first thing ever in the NBA, and I'm talking about a 30-point, 20 rebound, and 20 assist triple-double, Nikola Jokic.
Yo, if
Which-
you're gonna drop stats in here, you might as well go congratulate that man for hitting 4,000 threes while you're at it.
I mean, yeah, Steph Curry. Shout out to him too. Absolutely amazing.
So
But I
good.
mean, the fact that this guy is legit, like we're seeing probably one of the best players ever, and he doesn't get talked about enough is just crazy. And he's not even right now.
You don't think
considered-
Jokic gets talked about enough?
I mean,
No, I'm right
not
there
as
with
much as he
Jake.
should.
I'm right there
Not
with
as much
Jake.
as
All
good.
I've been
When
seeing.
do you not hear people talk about Jokic?
I could go on a 10-minute rant about this, but Jake, this is your player of the week. But all I've been seeing is Shea. He's not putting up half the stats that Nikola Jokic is. All right,
Exactly.
continue.
Exactly.
What do you
And,
expect? People are gonna look more and talk more about the point guard than they are about the big man. It's always been that way. Think
No,
There's
about
I
also-
think
it.
it's
It's
voter
always
fatigue.
been that way.
I
think
mean,
it's
people always
Unless
absolutely
if it
voter
was,
fatigue.
unless if it was Shaquille O'Neal, it's always been that way. People always over talked about
Yeah.
like anyone.
and
When
and
it-
it's
Even when it was Kobe and Shaq, it was Kobe then Shaq, not
I'll-
Shaq then Kobe.
I'll give you
Always
another
been that way.
example. It's like Mike Trout. They're both quiet guys. They're both very unassuming. They're not like super loud personalities, and it's kind of hard to advertise that. Like look at Ant Edwards. This guy talks so much crap. He backs it up
I
with his
love
play.
Anthony Edwards.
He's a super loud player. That's an easy guy to advertise, So
He's a
yeah,
stud.
but when it comes to like, I know voter fatigue is a real thing, and I know like people are tired of
True.
listening to him, but at the same time, a guy deserves to keep getting these awards if he's been this good, and especially this year, he is top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists per game. Shea is again scoring number 1 in the league. He is still a very, very good player, but he isn't in any of the other categories that Jokic is in, and it's just insane to be able to watch him play.
I
And
mean,
he probably at the end of his career will be, at the very least, a top 5 player of all time.
when I think about it, I mean, he definitely gets overlooked a little bit, especially more so for the fact that like people are going to talk about Boston before they talk about anything. So you kind of got to think about that. They're going to be like, "Oh, super team. Like who cares? Boston's got a super team."
Yeah, exactly. And Jokic is winning with almost nobody else on his team.
Jake, I gotta
Nah, I
back
like
up here for
Jamal
a second.
Murray.
Here's what I've seen, right? I saw this one report, I think last season, that said that the NBA is getting a massive amount of viewership but not watching the actual games. They're getting it through these short clips, right? So it's basically entirely up to them to choose the narratives, and I mean the media involved as well, to choose the narratives that they want to promote. And somebody like Shea, yeah, I guess like there's more highlight reel moves because he's faster, he's quicker, can shoot the ball.
True.
But you're doing a disservice to every single NBA fan, and there's no shame in not watching NBA games anymore, because honestly, I don't really watch that many anymore because they're just unwatchable with how many threes they're putting up, their transition threes. Everybody is trying to play the same brand of basketball, and it's kind of just boring at this point to watch. Which is why I really only watch Warriors games, because he's the best of all time to shoot threes. So basically, my point is, all these people are pushing this narrative that Shea and the Thunder are like the team to watch, which to some extent they are. But Nikola Jokic is putting up much better stats. And here's one last thing to put the cherry on top, I guess, hypothetically, is that when Quentin Grimes, when the Sixers played the Warriors a couple weeks back, and Quentin Grimes, I know Chris and Ben, you probably saw this, he dropped like 40-something points on Stephen
He
Curry.
hit
They beat
46
the Warriors.
last night. That
There
was
you
his
go.
career
He
high.
beat but even more so for that game, he beat the Warriors that were on a pretty solid win streak at that point. And all the comments that I see in this NBA post on Instagram, they're asking who this guy is. Everybody who's ever watched the Knicks or Sixers game, or pretty much has decent NBA knowledge, knows who Quentin Grimes is, right?
It's
But
true.
all you're doing is you're advertising these top players. You're not really going. Like, how do you? It's just so crazy to me to see that probably 90% of the NBA fan base at this point is just all casual fans who are probably watching through clips. That's my rant.
Most of them kind of remind me of like the people who are gonna sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, Russ is still top 10 in the league
Yeah,
at this
he-
current moment."
I don't even know what he's up to at this point.
He's
on the
honestly been a
Nuggets
very
still,
He's
right?
on the Nuggets.
he's actually had like a really good season, but like definitely
Yeah, he's had like a
not.
comeback.
He's
Gabe,
been
you've been
arguably
on
the
a-
best
you've
role
been on
player
a
in the league. this
heater,
year.
Gabe. I need to hear your player of the week because you've been on a heater.
Okay, yeah, here's my player of the week, and it'll probably continue to heater a little bit because it's not even much on a sad note, although it is a little bit as much as it is what are we doing here kind of note. My player / team / athletics, whatever you want to call it, program of the week is Temple Athletics, and here's why. It's March, right? That means a lot of things, but primarily it means the NCAA tournament, right? Temple has.
Could
I
you
think-
have just said like Steve Settle? It would have made everybody like feel better.
No, because here's why. It's not. This is not about any player. This is not about any
Give that
coach.
man his credit.
Steve Settle is great though. Steve Settle is great. We're gonna miss him a lot next year.
Yeah.
But here's my point. Temple has what 33, I think it is, NCAA tournament appearances, a bunch more NIT, a couple NIT wins, championship NIT wins, and I think that's when they were like the premier tournament. Point is, I'm not a senior at Temple. I'm graduating in a couple months, and I have not seen one postseason bid for any tournament from Temple Athletics, from Temple basketball, and no bowl appearances, obviously, for Temple football. It's time that we look at the conference that we're in. The American Athletic now has one bid in this tournament. That is awful. This is a conference that had Cincinnati, number 1 ranked Houston, and UCF all in the same conference, Memphis included, who obviously they're still there. And they were like potentially on a good year, a 3 to 4 bid conference. Now we're at 1. Temple Athletics, what are we doing? We need to get out now. And I kind of want to go around because everybody's going to have an opinion on this. Just even if it's 10 seconds, do we get out this offseason? And if so, where do we go? What's the plan? Is basketball going to A10? Is football staying where it is? Are we getting rid of football, basketball to the A10? Are we going to try to make a move to the Big East if possible? I want to hear what everybody has to think.
So Gabe, do you want me to say what I would do if I was in charge or what I think is going to happen?
Go both.
Okay. First of all, what I would do is if I was in charge, first of all, I mean, I love our hiring of Coach Keeler. Seems like a great guy. Looks like he's going to do a good job. For Temple standards, but I would immediately fold the football program. Bye. Save the money on the link lease, whatever. Get out of that. Save all that NIL money. Invest it into the basketball program. We have a stadium on campus that's almost never full, and it's huge. It's one of the biggest arenas in college basketball that's on a college campus. That thing could be full. That could provide a ton of revenue. Alongside that, I mean, you have an up-and-coming coach in Adam Fisher who, in my opinion, has done a really solid job in his first few years in this program. He's brought in good recruits. Is his on-the-court coaching the best? No, but you're always going to have some strengths and weaknesses when you're coaching at, a mid-major. And I think if you can get a good recruit, I mean, look at Memphis. Memphis has a great recruiter at head coach, horrible on the court, right? I mean, Penny Hardaway is a horrible on-court basketball coach. I think we can all agree on that because a lot of us have
great
watched
player
a lot
himself,
of
though.
Great player, underrated NBA player, and that's why he's great at recruiting, but not a good coach. Yes.
I feel like a smart thing too, though, that you're kind of looking into, like if they do wind up selling out though with the basketball stadium and they make a bunch of money off of it, then they could rebuild their football program as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't even necessarily have to fold the football program. What you could do is get rid of the link lease, go to the FCS level, so you don't have to invest as much money, become a successful FCS team, and then come back. Especially with Coach Keeler, I mean, he would be great at that. I don't know. I mean, obviously that's not what he signed up for, but so yeah. And then women's side, like I'm not going to put too much into the women's side because the women's American in general is just awful. Like none of those teams that make it out of there are ever going to win the tournament because the women's side of things, while it's fun to watch at the top, there's just not as much talent depth. There's not as many great.
Sucks when there's no Leah Nelson around.
Yeah. Just in general in women's basketball. In men's, I mean, if you could weasel your way into the Big East, do not think that's possible. But if you get rid of the football program, we're already in the Big East for some of our athletics here. I believe lacrosse, some other sports are in the Big East.
I believe too. But
yeah. Maybe it was field hockey, not lacrosse. But
no, I think you're right. I think that's also lacrosse.
If you could find your way into the Big East, I don't know if that would be possible, but like honestly, I can't complain too much about the American. It's very wide open. I feel like Temple has an opportunity as a program to become that second best team behind Memphis. Like obviously Memphis is just going to be number one because they have the most money, a ton of alumni, legendary coach or whatever. But Temple has the opportunity to get into that second spot here. I mean, right now they're just not taking advantage of it. I think North Texas is a school that's taking advantage of that. And I mean, the American in general has a great media deal with ESPN. So anyway, that was a lot to
Ben,
talk about. But
I think you summed that up the best.
Yeah. The one thing that I'll add though is Temple with the NC or the NIL deals that have been going on for the past, was it been 2 years now that your NIL came out, something like that. Temple did not have a jump start on that at all, but for this upcoming school year, so next year, they will have the ability to pay college players coming to Temple. So that should be a huge help for Temple athletics going forward. So if anything, next year should be at least a pretty good recruiting year when it comes to basketball. I know football might be a year behind just because that recruiting process already happened before the NIL stuff came out for Temple, but next year for basketball at least should be a very good recruiting year, depending on how the funds are allocated.
Yeah, and I truly, to wrap this part up, I truly believe in Adam Fisher as a head coach.
Too.
And I think he's a great guy. I think he knows how to recruit in Pennsylvania, specifically the Philadelphia area. But yeah, I mean, that kind of moves me into my player of the week. Actually, funny enough,
I'm glad you did that because I was literally gonna throw the spotlight on you.
I'm going with another head basketball coach, John Snyder. I was gonna say Jon Scheyer. Do you guys know who that is? I mean, you should, but yeah. Head coach at Duke. Now I know you guys are gonna call me homers, and for the first thing I'll say is you guys pick homer picks all the time too, so I don't want to hear it. Second off, it's March. I mean, we're gonna be talking.
Jake, cover that poster on your wall real quick. Just put your hand up. I don't see any homer picks. No homer picks.
But it's March. We're going to talk some March Madness. But I mean, just
don't go too deep into it because
I won't. I just want to give this guy his kudos because you look at college basketball right now. There's a lot of transition from legendary coaches retiring, and a lot of those teams that have lost those legendary coaches have kind of flustered. I mean, you look at Syracuse, North Carolina. Obviously, in their first year without Roy Williams, they made the national championship, but since then they've been kind of meh. This year they undeservingly made the quote unquote made the tournament. They're playing in about 20 minutes from when we're recording. Still don't understand how they made it in. And there's a lot of other examples, but it's very rare in, if you want to call college basketball professional sport or semi-professional sport, it's very rare where a legendary coach retires and the guy you bring in to replace him finds pretty much immediate success. And that's kind of what's happened with Duke. I mean, obviously, yes, they get good recruits, but that's on him. I mean, Duke has a lot of money, right? But they don't have, that much more money than other schools.
Look at another school.
I think they've done a great job recruiting. I think he's done an outstanding job coaching. They won the ACC tournament this year. They are the number 2 overall seed in the tournament, somehow behind Auburn, which doesn't make any sense to me. But, I guess they were kind of lucky in the fact that their section of the bracket is way easier, but we might discuss that later. But yeah, I mean, kudos to him, honestly.
Ben, look at another massive basketball school that has 2 titles in the past, I believe, decade already in Villanova, right? Jay Wright is one of the best coaches of all time at the college basketball level. He's replaced by former assistant Fordham head coach Kyle Neptune, and he's already out of there. And honestly, I think he stayed a season too long, right? You're talking about massive shoes to fill in Coach K, and Jon Scheyer has been great.
Yeah, by the way, I just realized that for the second half of that, I muted my audio. Could you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was very worried because I keep hitting the wrong button on my computer to mute the audio. Anyway, but yeah, shout out to him. I mean, obviously, I'm a Duke fan, but seems like a great guy, and I'm glad he's having success.
My player of the week, I am doing the homer pick. I do not care. It's well deserved. It's on the day of this said player's retirement.
I think any NFL fan can acknowledge this guy.
15 years he spent playing in the league, out of the University of Michigan, played for the Eagles for 15 seasons, and hung up his last pair of cleats on the Rocky statue today. Dabbed up every single person before his speech happened. I was hoping that it was going to be one more year after this year, but hey, going out on top can never hurt. Shout out my guy, Brandon Graham. Main reason why we won the first Super Bowl was here for the second. One of 4 players here for the second. I have my Super Bowl hat from last time signed by him in my room over to the side a little bit. I hope he still does the Brandon Graham show and every Monday like how he was doing and stuff. And I got to throw it out there. I mean, kudos to him, man. Always one of the best Philly beloved people like around. Like this dude was hands down one of the nicest athletes I've ever met. Every single time I've met him, he's always been super down to earth, super nice. And there's so many players who look up to this man and respect this guy within the league too. Coming out of a dude who didn't really have like the craziest of hopes when he got drafted, and then obviously the Eagles took a chance on him, and 15 years later, here we are.
Yeah,
Sucks.
I mean,
It sucks, but
Chris, I talk about a persistent guy. I mean, yes, he was a first round pick, a lot of high pedigree, but in his second season, he almost got cut. His second and third season, he barely made the Eagles roster. He was arguably, I remember, well, I mean, I wasn't watching, but I've read some articles saying he was the 51st guy on the roster in his third season, barely making the team, and that just goes to show, I mean, how important it is
he
sometimes the
hustled.
last few roster spots, and great leader. I mean, you saw, for those of you that watched the press conference, how many players on the team were at that press conference. Jalen Hurts, a bunch of the defensive starters, some other guys, all
Fletch.
there. Yeah, all there. And yeah, I mean, it's a new era for the Eagles. They had 3 of their top 5 players in snaps, or I mean, in games played in franchise history, retire the last 2 seasons. So kind of a
Also had the
transition.
most games played by an Eagle.
Yeah, big transition for the franchise in the leadership area, but I think they'll be
Yep.
okay. But great guy for the community and for the organization as a whole.
Moving into basically our second segment here, jumping into some free agency. I got a bunch of names that I wrote down. 2 of these guys we'll talk about a little later, but I want to jump around from names that I got on the list. I might as well start off and make myself happy a little bit after the whole BG, retirement. I need to make myself feel enlightened here a little bit. So, why not we jump on the guy that the Giants decided to pay instead of Saquon? Darius Slayton.
I mean,
Thanks. Really
okay,
appreciate that
well,
offer.
okay. Well, first of all, we all know receivers get paid more than running backs. Look at another guy that you're about to bring up, most likely, who just got paid the biggest contract that's not a quarterback in NFL history. But second, I've seen a lot of people, and I agree that it is a good, safe move, because whatever quarterback you're bringing in, like Slayton has been.
What if the quarterback is Aaron Rodgers?
That's a whole nother thing that they have given him an offer. So we'll see what happens with that. But basically, it's nice to have a solid wide receiver too. And that's what his role is. And I think that's what he knows his role is now. I think he realizes, and the team realizes, that you need a solid number 2, especially with last year where it's like they were relying. I love Wan'Dale Robinson, but they were relying on like Jalen Hyatt, who clearly just has not done what he was hyped up and expected to do, taking in a step for last year. And I just think that Slayton is, again, a good, solid number 2 that is reliable for becoming a deep threat, which allows Malik Neighbors to become a great slot receiver.
What do you think, Gabe?
Jake did a really good job there at making it sound like it's a really good idea. Personally, I don't know. I think 36 million, I think, over 3 years is the contract, right? That just seems like a lot to me.
Yeah,
This guy
I
was
mean,
Daniel Jones's favorite target, like without a doubt. and I do think it frees up some space for Malik Neighbors. But he had a great, like, I think it was first couple years in the league, he was looking pretty good, especially when Daniel Jones played. I just don't
Yeah, that's Indiana
know.
Jones. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, just Gabe. Here's the thing, though. It's like if the Giants did not bring back Slayton, like who would be the number 2? Just like
Yeah, I
Wandale.
think big
if
play
he had
Slayton
it,
is
it
a
probably
big
would have
opportunity.
been
Wandale.
here I think
He was good.
re-signing him was smart. I think the way that they structured the contract doesn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. Just pulling it up on Cap Friendly, this year, the first year of the contract is 6.2 million against the cap, so that's about 2.3%. Next year it's 15, which is 5%. I would have made the heavier cap hit in the first year because you guys have a ton of cap space that you guys just aren't really going to use. I mean, that's getting into the nitty gritty. I do think the player itself, if you don't look at the cap hit, makes sense to re-sign because the wide receiver market, there's just a lot of veteran guys that are injured or getting older that you don't know what you're going to get. I think Darius Slayton is a more proven product, but at the same time, like I feel like you guys probably should have taken. I mean, and you could still sign another wide receiver. Who knows? I feel like a guy like a Stephon Diggs would have been a nice signing for you guys to take as a risk. But I mean, who knows? You guys could still sign him.
You
I
know
mean,
what?
he's still unsigned. So
Yeah.
While I'm at it, let's just stay on the same topic. Let me hear it from the two Giants fans. Honest to God opinions on Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo.
I really like it. I don't know about you, Gabe, but Javon Holland, I'm a huge fan of. The fact that he was balling with the Dolphins and
Why was he bowling with the Dolphins?
Well, yeah, sure, Vic Fangio. Yeah, okay. But I mean,
he was still good last
Mhm.
year. He was still very good last year.
Give
still
props
very
to
good
Unk.
last year.
Give
And
props
he-
to Unk.
He is super young still too. I mean, I'm pretty sure he came up and got drafted when he was only
He is young.
19, something like that. And I love the fact that
Giants got a good defense.
the Giants got him. Yeah. Unfortunately,
Secondary
yeah,
help. That's a lot of
we
secondary
chose-
help with him and
we chose him over Xavier McKinney, but at the same time, it's like Javon Holland. I
Are
loved
you
him
a
on the
big
Dolphins.
fan of Paulson Adebo as well?
Paul said, look, it seems like Joe Shane with the Giants is focusing free agency on defense and then hopefully in the draft just targeting offense. That's what it seems like to me.
I think the secondary was there was a big hole in the secondary, and that
There
could be
was.
attributed to Xavier McKinney, which I definitely think we should have re-signed him originally.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're trying to buff
Would
up
you-
that secondary again. I don't mind
To
it
drop
at
a
all.
question real quick, would you guys have been more happy if they got Justin Reed instead of Javon Holland or no?
No. Because
Okay.
both Reed both Holland and Adebo are also still young. So Reed is a little bit older. I think he might be in his early 30s now. But it's two guys that can help grow with the team, and this team is now very young. They have, I believe, I saw a stat where it's either a top 3 or they're in the top 3 for youngest defense in the league. And you saw with the Texans 2 years ago, even last year, a young team that can grow together ends up being pretty good. So even
Yeah.
Green Bay's been
I didn't
young.
realize Brian Burns was still 26. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I-
building a young defense.
I am a huge fan of Paulson Adebo. I think he arguably, I mean, you pull up his PFF page, one of the best blitzing corners in the league, 6th out of 222 in pass rush. These are PFF grades, so take it with a grain of salt. He was slightly above average overall, slightly above average in corner, but 85th coverage grade. I really like him. I think you got him on a good deal. I love Javon Holland, great player. I just don't think roster building wise, paying a safety like a ton of money works that well. I mean, 15 million this year is a lot. As the cap rises, it's not going to be as bad, but you just look at a lot of these teams that are successful the last few seasons, none of them really have a high paid safety, right? So I mean, if you're able to have that, that's a nice luxury, but it's interesting. And look, I mean, the Giants aren't going to be winning next year, right? So all of these signings are taken with a grain of salt. I do think so far the Giants have had a good offseason. I do not. I don't like the direction they're looking to go in the draft at all. If you guys get a quarterback, I'm sorry. If you don't, smart GM work, but yeah,
No, I'm thinking Cam Ward. It'll be good for them.
they're not
I
going
don't.
to get.
I don't think he falls to us, to be honest.
They
I
would
don't
have
think
to
he does
trade.
either, but
I have no clue.
I mean, if
what's
you
gonna
trade
happen.
up for him, you'd probably have to trade another first-round pick to move up 2 spots for a guy in Cam Ward who I really like. He's just not like a S-tier prospect like we've seen the past few years. But then
he's
again,
the
I
best
mean,
quarterback in the class, though.
you don't have to be an S-tier prospect to end up being a good quarterback. I mean, look at Bo Nix. He was a projected second to third round guy last year.
Josh Allen wasn't the greatest on paper coming out of college.
Yeah, but Josh Allen had a ton of traits that Cam Ward just.
Or
You
just
also
quarterback.
you need to consider Cam Ward is probably going to be a good quarterback, but we need a great quarterback for a franchise turnaround.
To jump
Yeah,
around.
I just hope the Giants don't handcuff themselves again.
To jump around a little more. Obviously, like I said, I got a lot of names on here, so I'm just gonna try to jump around and get to as many as we can. What do we think about the duo over in Minnesota, more so on the defensive side, in Hargrave and Jonathan Allen? So I think it's huge for them.
I mean, I just don't understand why Washington got rid of Allen, really, because I think Allen is a great player. I'm assuming that it's because they need cap space, but at the same time, like, I don't think dismantling your D line to do that when your defense was kind of the problem last year was a really good move
I mean,
for Washington
It's
side.
true.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about another signing on that team because my favorite off-season signing of all of free agency, Will Fries, one of the best guards in the league. For some reason, the Colts, Chris Ballard, one of the worst GMs in sports, by the way. Just look up Chris Ballard's drafting and roster management history. He sucks. But Will Fries for that offensive line, I think Minnesota's had a great offseason building up that offensive and defensive line, which were kind of their biggest issues. You have a question at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers really wants to play there. I would not sign Aaron Rodgers if I was Minnesota at all. I'd let McCarthy play it out. But man, Minnesota, I love that team. I love that their coaching staff. I think they have one of the best head coaches in the league. I think they arguably have a top 5 defensive coordinator in the league. So yeah, that division is going to be a bloodbath next year. I mean, I cannot see any of those teams going under 500 next season. Realistically, all 4 of those teams are awesome. I love all of them. So anyway, Vikings great offseason so far.
I definitely agree with that. I think the Vikings got a lot better. I mean, obviously, there's still the, what if on McCarthy. I still think McCarthy's a good quarterback. I don't know how well he's going to play coming off of a big injury like he had, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Any other thoughts on that?
I did think that QB situation was really interesting. How they went from like, are we going to re-sign Darnold? Are we going to look at Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson to now seemingly sticking with JJ McCarthy? But yeah, it seems like I thought it was kind of odd that they drafted McCarthy at I think 5 last year, and then they seemed, at least in the first half of free agency, to just kind of like disregard him, and then now they're just like, oh yeah, we have a top 10 quarterback from last year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's coming off that injury, the torn ACL, right?
Yes.
Is that
which is a big deal.
Yeah, so that sucks for him because that really stunts his development. But also, there's a chance that he might have sat. It sounded like Sam Darnold was going to beat him out last year in the beginning of the year anyway, but nobody could have predicted what Sam Darnold did last year. And no one can predict what he's going to do with Seattle either.
While we're jumping around, obviously from team to team, picking apart big free agency moves and stuff, obviously this was a huge free agency. A lot of guys got moved. I wanted to jump in to a totally revamped team that I'm definitely all in for their success. I wanted to jump in on Seattle. And
do you like their moves, Chris?
I do.
I'm confused.
Their moves make no sense at all.
I
I am
like their
so
moves.
confused.
Look,
How do you break down your wide receiver core that was probably one of the best in the NFL, and then break that down, get rid of your quarterback, and then bring in a whole new quarterback? That doesn't make sense to me at all.
And here's the questionable
Darnold's
part.
not the only guy that they got.
There's the questionable part to me is you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is one of the best slot receivers in the league, and then you bring in an old, somewhat.
He's not
washed-
old. He is not old, and
He's
not
31.
washed.
He's 31.
He's not
He
old,
hasn't
and
been
he's not
good the
washed.
last 3 seasons. He had one great season, and
No, come
he's a
on.
slot
Injury prone.
receiver. So you have 2 slot receivers.
Come
Cooper
on,
Kupp
man.
and Jackson Smith and Jigba have never played on the outside. They never have. It makes
Yeah,
no
well,
sense from a roster
Ben, to
construction
be-
standpoint.
To be fair, when Puka and Cooper both played together, they were both slot receivers and they both found success. So that's
Well,
the only
I mean,
comparison, really.
But Puka is more of an outside guy. I mean, he's a super physical wide receiver. He was able to play the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper Kupp.
It's not a bad pickup.
I
It's
just
not
don't
a
think it
bad
makes any
pickup.
sense. If you're
What do you
if-
have against Darnold?
their
though,
whole
Jake?
goal is to get rid of Tyler Lockett because he's old and overpaid. So then you get another wide receiver who's now old and overpaid. And then DK Metcalf, the trade makes sense in
Hold on, we'll talk about that one coming up.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
if we're talking about Seattle, like it
Oh,
makes
yeah,
sense.
I want to
but
know though, Jake, what do you have against Darnold exactly?
Well, first, I mean,
he
Darnold
might not
had-
have had the best playoff success.
I feel
but
like he
this
just
is
went
an
lateral.
upgrade from Geno
it was just a
Smith.
lateral move. It's not an upgrade at all.
Yeah,
It's a lateral
yeah,
move.
I agree with Ben. It really isn't an upgrade. Also, Seattle's just doing the thing that they did with Geno, where off of one good
I think
year,
it
you're
is
giving
an
a
upgrade
quarterback
over
a good
Geno.
contract.
I
And
disagree. I think
also,
Geno's better.
You
right
actually
now.
think Geno Smith and Sam Darnold are on the same level?
I
after
think
this past
Geno's
season?
better right now.
What?
Right now. Yes.
No
Also,
way.
Chris, the last
Did you
3
not-
games of the
did you-
season really showed who Darnold is.
Exactly. That's the
He
exact
crumbles under
point.
pressure. He crumbles under pressure.
And Chris,
He'll get
Chris,
better.
you're betting on the fact that those last 2 games did not scar Sam. Those type of games can ruin a quarterback's career. Those 2 type of games. I mean, like some quarterbacks after a bad playoff performance aren't the same. Like it
He's
happens.
also,
It's not
you gotta
crazy.
think about it too, though. He's also not overpaid, and they can opt out after the first year. It's not a bad signing at all.
Yeah, but okay, yes, you have flexibility, but why would you? I just don't get moving on from Geno Smith, who's been solid with
It
a.
hasn't gone anywhere. That's why it hasn't gone anywhere.
But that's because you haven't spent any money on the offensive line. You have the worst interior in the league, and your GM still says, "Oh, the interior doesn't matter." Well, clearly it does because your team sucks because you don't have a center or any guards, and they have yet to make any moves at that position. And I guarantee you, they're not going to draft any in the first round because they're dumb and they somehow don't realize, even though every other team in the league realizes that offensive guards are one of the most important positions because interior pass rushers are getting better. I just.
I think they will though this year. I think it might be a little different. I mean, they got a good defense already, anyways.
I just think the Rams by far and away have moved away from Seattle.
No, the
by a lot.
Rams. The Rams are still the number 1 team. I think Seattle's number 2.
I think the Cardinals are way better than.
I think what
and
you
deserving
get with
credit for it.
Seattle now is you have like there's a lot of volatility in this team, just on the fact that I mean, looking mostly at the quarterback position, Geno, it seemed like you're gonna get an okay team, and you're not gonna be horrible, but you're also not gonna contend for a Super Bowl with Geno Smith at quarterback. I mean, unless you team up with outstanding wide receivers,
But you will
I think,
with Sam Darnold, though?
I think that at his best, he could lead him to me, and you're not getting a Super Bowl quarterback, and you also might be you might be awful with them, but who knows? I think that's kind of
You
what
know,
they're building
on
is
top
like
of
that
that,
who knows
though,
factor.
On top of that, though, Seattle did add another big name though in free agency. Though they added more to their defense.
I mean, that whole DeMarcus Lawrence situation was funny with Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I was
Me-
about to read the tweet since I have it.
Yeah,
I
go for
literally
it, because that's
saved it
just
in my
that's
camera roll.
crazy.
It makes every person in here smile when you see Micah Parsons say on Twitter, "This is what rejection and envy looks like. This is some clown stuff." After DeMarcus Lawrence said Dallas is my home, but I'm for sure not going to win a Super Bowl there. And then DeMarcus Lawrence claps back with, Calling me a clown won't change the fact that I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left.
Hey, Chris. I just want to tell you that the DeMarcus Lawrence signing, in my opinion, is one of the worst in free agency. This guy is coming
Not a
off
bad player.
the worst season of his career. He was below average in pass rush grade.
They didn't overpay him.
Bottom 25% in the league. He was a
They didn't
bang
overpay
average
him,
run
though.
defender. Yeah, but he's not good. Like, he's a backup level player, and you're paying him like he's a starter.
He also
He's
is going to
gonna
Seattle.
play. He's gonna play alongside Leonard Williams.
Seattle's not a lock at all for the playoffs, like we were just talking about, and the fact that he chose there to
You know what?
to
I
win a
think you
championship.
guys are doubting Seattle now.
I might predict Seattle to finish last in the division. I'm going to be straight up with you,
They're
Chris.
not finishing last behind the Niners.
I don't know about that.
The Niners just lost like 50 players.
Yeah, but they have a great proven head coach. I mean, I like Mike McDonald a lot, but I just really
All right,
dislike the move
Because
Seattle.
of
I'm
time,
gonna
we
be
got to keep
honest.
jumping around.
Yeah.
We got to keep jumping around. Some of these names we might not get to, so I might just drop where they went. But we'll jump on the DK Metcalf though while we're at it, since we were on the topic of Seattle. Do we like him going to the Steelers? Because the number one thing that I like about this more than anything is I cannot wait for somebody to say something and then him and George Pickens just jump that guy. I cannot wait to see that happen.
Yeah, that locker room
Really
is gonna go crazy.
scary.
all I'm saying is this takes the Pittsburgh Steelers from 9-8 to 10-7. I think DK Metcalf. I think in theory, DK Metcalf is a great receiver.
Let me ask you
In
this. Let me drop this on you.
Yeah.
You know we are pushing for this draft show coming up with our radio station. You know I've been studying this draft like an insane amount. I literally watch all of Combine. I think they're gonna take Jackson Dart, and I think he's gonna start.
That's Chris. That's what I was gonna say. Their quarterback, who right now
I think it's
their
gonna be
depth chart-
Jackson Dart, and I think he's
They-
gonna start, and then he's gonna
First
be
of all,
throwing to DK.
They brought
and Pickens.
They brought Mason Rudolph back. That's crazy. He's back with the Steelers.
Miles Garrett's still with the Browns, you know, with his $40 million a year. So like they had to bring him back.
I mean, the Steelers they need a quarterback, and I honestly
I think
Jackson
it's gonna be
Dart's
Dart, and I think Dart's good.
them.
Hold on, Chris.
Dart's a good quarterback.
Because out of process of elimination, right? Steelers are gonna stick with. You're saying they're gonna draft Dart. Got the Vikings are gonna stick with JJ McCarthy. Does that mean Aaron Rodgers signs with the New York Giants?
Yes.
I don't mind
I
it.
mean, Gabe, do you want that to happen?
I actually kind of do. I said this.
Yeah?
in the
How
group
would
chat
you
before,
feel
I
if
actually
you
kinda
guys
do.
still wind up drafting a quarterback, but then Aaron Rodgers is there as a mentor?
I would
I
not
don't-
want Aaron Rodgers mentoring any of my young players. No.
Hey, I mean,
Aaron Rodgers
Jordan
is one
Love.
of the,
They worked with
They're gonna
Jordan
be doing
Love.
ayahuasca by the
I
second week
honestly
of the
think-
season.
Oh my.
Aaron
jeez.
Rodgers might be one of my most disliked
All right,
athletes in
Everybody in
professional
here likes
sports
the
right now.
DK
I'm gonna be
trade.
honest.
to throw it out there.
Huh?
Because of time, I don't know. Kind of want to just still jump around a little bit more, and then we'll jump into March, and I'll just drop the rest of the names that I had on here. We're gonna, since we spoke about the Giants, I guess we might as well hit on the Eagles, hit on some former Eagles and some Eagles while we're at it.
Yeah, the Eagles.
So why
did
not we go with Hassan Reddick? 1 year
Nothing.
deal
I
to
don't
the
care.
Bucs,
That's not
$14 million.
cool. I guess
Do you know why
Yeah,
he did it? That's my question to all three of you. Do you know why he signed?
probably because there's no income tax.
Oh,
in
I do.
Florida.
I do. I think.
He's caught on. He's caught on. Why?
Is it certain like a certain logo that's in this picture right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a certain head coach of a certain
Mm-hmm.
team that also has the same alumni?
Yep.
Yeah. Todd Bowles. I knew
You
that.
guys realize
I
that he
caught on.
went there because of Todd Bowles, right?
Not at all. I don't think so, but I mean, I guess you never know.
No, it's true. It's
Really?
true. He said in a press conference part of the reason why he went there was for Todd Bowles.
I mean, hey, Todd Bowles will give him more of a chance.
He coached him at Temple.
Yeah, but
Todd Bowles was
I mean,
a coach at Temple.
Mhm.
I thought he only played.
it kind of just
Well,
seems like one of
Did
those
he coach?
contracts
Did
where,
he coach him were they there at the same time? I don't think they
Yeah.
were.
They were.
yeah, they were.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know Todd Bowles was here that late. I mean, I guess he
Yeah.
must have left like his sophomore or junior year or something. Because
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
that
to
makes-
me, it
okay.
just kind of seems like one of those contracts where it's like he's just not going to do anything this year.
Yeah,
Like he's just going
I-
to
You
completely
never
fall off
know.
the planet,
I'm
and you'll be
rooting
like,
for
why
my
is he making
guy.
14
I think
mil?
he's going to do nothing this year and retire
Rooting
next
for my guy.
offseason.
I
That's
can't
my
hate.
I agree, Ben.
Can't
that's my
hate.
prediction.
So are you guys a lot more hype for the Joey Bosa $12 million 1 year to Buffalo to replace Von Miller?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I would say so.
I thought he was gonna be a Niner, if anything, no Bosa.
I like
he's matching up
I
with
like it
Bosa's.
from the Bills' perspective. I just think again, he's another one of those. There's a lot of veterans in this free agency that I'm just not a fan of signing, and I'm kind of glad the Eagles didn't go after any of them. It's another guy
There's still a lot of guys on the board though. There's
I-
still your Khalil Macks of the world, J.K. Dobbins,
I
etc.
think didn't Mac
Will
go back
Mack
to
it-
the Chargers?
Khalil Mack
Pretty
is
sure
one
he
of
did.
those guys.
Oh,
that
you're
I
right.
think-
You're right. He did sign a 1 year back to
Yeah.
the Chargers.
Yeah, Khalil Mack is one of the few guys in this free agency that I think has some production left because he's just so athletic.
To
And-
jump,
Yeah, I love Khalil Mack.
to keep
Love that
jumping around while we're at it. Obviously, I think everybody in the room knew that Milton Williams and Josh Sweat were going to leave the Eagles to get paid
I'm
big
kind of.
time.
I was more surprised they both didn't go to the Cardinals. To be honest, I thought they were both going to end up there.
Milt got
Yeah.
paid.
Milk got
paid.
Milk got.
He got
overpaid.
104 million on 4 years.
Very overpaid.
Highest paid
for,
Patriot.
for a guy that coming
He only
into
really
this,
had 1 year of real good production.
exactly. These teams, I just don't get the process of these teams.
Josh Sweat
being-
had good numbers over his career, but not
Yeah.
crazy good for him to get 76 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I
By
think this
four.
is one thing that the Eagles have done well is they never really sign.
Overpay guys. They don't overpay.
They don't attack free agency that much except through trades because first off you have to give up comp picks, and the Ravens also do this as well, and the Chiefs had been doing this until this season where they signed a left tackle they needed a left tackle, but they way overpaid. But anyway, I feel like these good teams don't use free agency, they just draft well, and then they
And they let the
supplement.
bad teams make up. They let the bad teams make up for it by wasting their money on guys
Exactly.
that they think are going to change their franchise. But then you realize, oh, it's Josh Sweat getting paid 76 million by 4 years, and guess what? Head coach he's still playing for, Jonathan Gannon.
I think Josh Sweat will be a solid player.
He will be
Probably
a solid player. He's
Car-
not going to be an
Cardinal-
all-star.
Cardinals fans by the last year of that contract are going to complain that he's overpaid for what he
I'm going to
provides.
say he's Tobias Harris.
I wasn't going to make that comp, but maybe. And then Milt Williams, I think, is going to put up counting numbers.
I think he's going to be good numbers. I think he's going to have good numbers still.
I think as long as the Patriots supplement some
And
other
Christian
pass
Barmore is a
rushers-
great D tackle to be alongside him.
because Milt isn't very good against double teams, but he's arguably the best defensive tackle one-on-one in the league. So
Mm-hmm. To
Sucks for
while we're
Carolina.
at it though,
I was kind of sad he didn't end up going to Carolina though, because for a second there, everybody thought he signed with Carolina, and I thought that was
Yeah.
a great fit, and then he decided to go to New England. But
hit on the last few names, and then the rest of the guys I'll just say where they went and for how much. I wanted to jump on Mackay for a minute because can anybody in here really explain to me why Howie didn't go after Mackay back then? Because it still hasn't clicked in my head yet.
I think you have Tyler Steen. You spent a relatively high draft pick on him, and in this draft, there's a lot of good interior offensive linemen. I mean, most of the guys
Yes,
that
but
are being called
Mackay-
tackles are really guards. So
Mackay wasn't overly expensive to begin with. I thought he was going to ask for upwards of 15. He got 10. He has the character in him that Philly loves. He's got that hustle in him. He had a career year. I don't know why you don't bring him back since he's only 25 on the cheaper side as well.
I mean, I think it comes down to just the Eagles, because you guys lost a lot of defensive linemen too, but you guys just constantly produce offensive and defensive linemen, and I
I'm
wouldn't
glad you brought
I wouldn't
that up,
worry
Jake.
about who plugs in there
I'm
for
glad you
any
brought
of the
that up
positions that you lost on
because
the line.
I've been going back and forth with everyone on Twitter about a certain someone that the Eagles got. And it's through the worst free agent move that I think that they've done, in my opinion, which was moving off of CJ Gardner-Johnson. With that being said, everybody has openly stated to me, oh, but the Eagles have Jeff Stoutland. Anything can happen. No, that's just not true. Andre Dillard was a prime example of what Kenyon Green will be. Trash. If you were ranked
God, the Kenyon Green.
131 out of 135 guards in the entire league, you are what I call a bust and a bum. You are trash. It doesn't work like that. Not everyone can get resurrected by Jeff Stoutland, and people have yet to realize that. Listen, Mekhi was a good example. Mekhi did get resurrected on the good side, but at the same time, Mekhi had the talents for it. Kenyon Green has no talents. He's got no pride. He's overweight. He's not fast. He don't know what he's doing. He's not a good player whatsoever. And I'm tired of people coming in saying this dude's a stud. Shut up. He was drafted 4 years ago for a reason. He missed a whole season already due to injuries, which you don't know could happen again. This kid's not good. I'm tired of this. If the Eagles do not take Malachi Starks in the first round of the draft, I will be very upset. Sidney Brown is not a starter.
Two things I want to say.
Ben, don't even hit me with Sidney Brown being a starter.
Two things I want to say.
He's a good player. Don't get
actually
me wrong.
three.
And he's got heart. But do you know what Sidney Brown does? Do you know what he does? He lets his head go first. This dude's gonna run at you, and he's totally gonna miss you 99% of the time because that's what he does. He runs at you full speed like Derwin James. It just doesn't have the accuracy of Derwin James.
Okay, Chris. Three things to respond to. One, I also strongly dislike Sidney Brown. I don't even know why he should be on the roster next year. He does nothing. He just runs really hard and gets mad.
Misses the tackle.
Yeah, exactly. He just looks like he's a fun player. He's a fun player to watch, but he's not good at football.
When you look up his highlights and you see good plays by him, you're going to think he's a good player. But at the same time, he's missing tackles most of the time.
Number two, I liked the trade, and you're going to call me crazy, but I'm not going to be a hypocrite. What did I say about the Giants? Good teams don't pay safeties that much money. CJ Gardner-Johnson
hit me. It was not that expensive. He was not that expensive.
He wanted to get re-signed to a long-term deal.
Okay, and they could have still held out and kept him another year and then worried about it next year. He's like the 15th paid safety in the league. And guess what? If you want to hit me with that, hold on. If you want to hit me with cap and that stuff, how come the Eagles were top 3 on Justin Reed and we're willing to pay Justin Reed more money than Gardner-Johnson?
Because Justin Reed is a way more well-rounded player. I mean, say how much you love CJ Gardner-Johnson, but he was player? Say how much you love CJ Gardner-Johnson, but he gave up the 3rd most completions against for any DB in the league. So like he
still had 12 interceptions in 2 years.
Yes, but interceptions aren't the end all be all. You know, like
I think it's a great
yeah, look at
I love CJ Gardner-Johnson as much as the next guy. I think he's a great leader. I think that's the main thing he provided for this team was his leadership, but I think you got guys that can take up that mantle
and you're do a better openly job. Happy with Kenyon Green.
I mean, I think it's worth the risk. I think like
if this kid somehow ends up on the Eagles after his rookie contract, I'm gonna have a problem. I mean, I openly stated on Temple Radio already.
Wait, Chris, if he ends up on the team, you should be happy about it because that means he performed well. So
no, I want him off the roster. I openly stated too on Temple Radio already. With Mekhi's departure, if this kid somehow gets a starting job and either A, Saquon gets hurt, God forbid, knock on wood, or Jalen Hurts gets hurt, once again, God forbid, knock on wood. I don't care if he's starting. I don't care if he's on the bench. I'm blaming him. He could be sitting on the bench, and I will blame him just because he is that bad to where I'm going to think he's in the game.
There's got to be some sort of clip from this this segment.
He's just awful.
Okay.
While we're on the topic of the Eagles, though, the last 3 guys I'm going to bring up, and then I'll just drop, and maybe I'll jump to one more name after that or something. We'll see, because we still got some good time. I want to start with Quadzilla, AJ Dillon.
So funny. The Farm Simulator King's coming to Philly.
Simulator. He's now an Eagle. I like it. It's one of 3 signings that I think the Eagles did good on. That's one of 3.
He's just gonna be.
It's a 1-year deal. It's a prove-it deal.
I'm just
We're just
picturing.
gonna be He's just gonna be a tush push special teams guy. That's all.
I
Well,
actually.
no, he's the second string running back. For them.
I like the signing a lot.
I do.
I think it's a great yin and yang. I think
It grew on me. It grew on me since. At first, I was like, why is this the first signing that we get? But like,
I
now
think
it's like grown on me.
the Eagles did a very well here, just because you signed Saquon to that contract, and everybody knows how running backs, a lot of them tend to fall off.
I think they could have waited on that. By the way,
I think this protects the Eagles' interest and Saquon. You can give AJ. I mean, they
this
both.
means Saquon will more than likely retire with the Eagles, though.
Yeah, I mean, like
He's like, how old is he?
He'll be 32 when the contract's done.
Oh, okay. So okay. You know what? That doesn't sound as crazy as it just seemed.
I don't want to. I don't want to spend. I want to save some time for March. I don't want to rant and rave about a freaking backup running back signing. But I think it's a good. I think it's a good signing. Good signing.
All right. I'm gonna drop the last 2 names and then we'll skip the rest of the names that I have on here and go into March. I would like to welcome in yet 2 more Giants into the Eagles franchise. One of them we're going to talk about after because I want to save him for last. I think everybody knows who I'm referring to on that one. But I want to jump into Adoree Jackson. He gets to revive his career on the Eagles.
Yeah, you can have him. You can have him. He
Did you see
literally.
our
He's literally going to
last
be
year?
Isaiah Rodgers.
Did you see our
He was like
secondary last year?
Dude, he was
last
your
year when
best
he came
corner.
in- No, it was not. Not last year. He came in and
Dude.
he switched his number because
He's
somebody
gonna
else
be-
had his
he's
number.
literally going to be Isaiah Rodgers 2.0
Guys,
and
I just
revive
want-
his career.
I just
He's a,
want you to
keep
know-
in mind though, he is a corner 4 on the Eagles.
I mean,
Ringo's going to wind up being the corner 2.
dude, no. Dude, Chris, let your Georgia bias go. Keely Ringo cannot be a starting NFL corner. He's horrible. No. Have you? No.
What?
Or
What? Are you trying to get me heated right now?
Can I just talk about Adoree
Are
Jackson
you
real quick?
Trying to get me heated right now.
Sure. Chris, you gotta let your Georgia bias go. He's so bad.
Keely Ringo is a hard hitter. He reads a play well. He's fast. He had a great college career. He hasn't gotten a shot in the NFL fully yet. He doesn't have injury
Yeah,
problems.
such a good
like
college
that.
career. He was drafted. In
He
like the
doesn't have
fourth
injury
round,
problems
yeah.
like that. And he was a 5-star for a reason.
Dude,
Like,
not
why are
all
we gonna
5 stars work out.
discredit
That's
the
a horrible.
dude?
That's
Give him his
horrible.
shot. He gets to play alongside Quinion and Coop. He's going to be just fine. Give him his shot.
Spencer Rattler was a 5-star, was he
he's
not?
not
Was
on that
Spencer
Georgia
Rattler the best
team,
player in his class?
if
Bro,
he's
you
not
can
on
talk
that
about
Georgia
so many
team, they
5
don't
stars that didn't
win.
even make the NFL.
If
Like,
he's not on that Georgia team, Ben, they do not win back-to-back years.
wasn't
They
Jamarcus
don't.
Russell a
Wait,
5-star?
hold on.
Wasn't Jamarcus Russell a 5-star?
All right, he wasn't. This guy wasn't a 5-star, but he was still a 4-star. Like committed to Georgia, Dewan Mathis.
Oh,
Like,
Once again, if
Trent
Keely
Richardson?
Ringo isn't on that team, they don't go back-to-back.
I don't care. I
Who do you
don't
want
care.
starting as the 2? Who do you
Dude,
want? Eli Ricks? It's
Just
not
because
gonna
you're good in
work.
college
Eli
does
Ricks
not.
is Sidney Brown as a corner. It's not going to work.
Chris, just because you're good in college, that doesn't mean anything to me when I'm evaluating him for his NFL talent.
Christian Parker is a phenomenal cornerback coach. Ringo will get his shot this year, and you are going to eat these words. Every
Okay.
time this dude makes a good play, I am going to text you. Every
Okay.
time.
Just know Adoree Jackson was the 9th best cornerback in run defense, which I think is very underrated and
Jake,
something
you're pulling all
Darius
these
Slay sucked
stats,
at.
damn.
And he changes the topic.
And he was 58th in
You know what?
coverage.
I'm cutting the
so
spotlight from you. While I'm talking about Georgia, I'm talking about the last guy.
This guy actually hurt.
yeah, I don't know why you guys let this guy
Jimmy
go. I'm gonna be honest.
Aziz Ojulari playing
maybe we-
alongside Nolan, Jalen, and Jordan.
Maybe he got let go because he has not improved at
What
all.
did I tell both of you? At Gabe and Jake? Who did I say would go to the Eagles? Aziz.
You actually did make that. I remember you made that.
I said
Yeah.
Aziz was going to be an
Prediction.
Eagle.
But,
And look at
I
me
mean,
now.
Gabe, we've been waiting for
$4
him to take a
million
step
is
up
cheap for
ever
that
since
man.
his rookie year, and he just has not taken that step
Well,
up.
that's because you
$4
got
To be
million
fair, though,
is
Jake,
cheap for that
I
man.
think when
He's
Kate,
the third pass rusher on your team. He's obviously not going to put up
Let me
10
put it to
sacks.
you this
like-
way.
well, no,
Yeah,
but
He'll
but also
probably
injury
start.
problems
He'll
with him.
probably start.
I forget, was it Kayvon or
if
Brian
he
Burns
doesn't-
was hurt this year and he started for us for a few games and he played really well.
If Aziz
Yeah, and then
doesn't
he
start,
immediately
he's
fell off
gonna
again.
split.
Well, yeah,
with
he's
Jalen.
always injured, but when he's
Yeah.
healthy, he's good.
Let me put it this way. If he doesn't start, he's gonna split with Jalix. But on top of that, though, when the offenses come to play against the Eagles, and then they're double teaming Carter and they're double teaming Nolan, that just leaves open opportunities for Aziz to go off.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, no matter who goes to the Eagles at this point, just becomes better. So he's probably going to get like
He's
9.5
gonna be a
sacks
stud.
next
Aziz
year.
is gonna be a stud. I think at least through. I don't know if he'll hit 10 sacks, but I think at least through 15 he'll have 8.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm predicting like 9.5 from him.
So Chris,
9.5's a good line.
So,
9.5's a
so
good
Chris,
line.
you don't think there's any chance the Eagles end up drafting a pass rusher in the first round?
I think if they do, I have a more so feeling that they wait and do it next year than this year, which I don't totally understand because I think the edges are better this year. But it's like weird to me though that they would go out and you already have Nolan and Jalix. I don't know if they think of Jalix as the long-term starter. I know they think of Nolan as a long-term starter, but then you look at they bring in Aziz, they bring in Uche. Like, what is the exact game plan here? I know both of those are deals, like prove it deals. Like, yeah, we can resurrect your career here. But
I mean,
what?
I think they're looking at it like the linebacker position last year, bringing a bunch of guys on 1-year deals, and you just hope one of them breaks out. Last year it was Zach Bond. This year, I mean, it could be Aziz, could be Uche, could be a
But
rookie
here's my
that they
thing.
draft.
Even if
I
they
like-
do
I like-
break out,
I
even if
like
they do
the-
break
I like
out,
the
what are you
methods.
specifically doing with them? Are you just letting them walk and getting a payday again, or like?
I mean, it's a great. I mean, if they get a payday, it's a free 3rd-round pick for a cheap deal. Like, I mean, it's just smart business. Like, I mean, these guys, you get a 3rd-round
Okay.
pick if these guys get big contracts. I mean, that's very valuable. You can get starters in the 3rd round, right?
I'm not
So-
gonna lie to you though. I do hope that the Eagles trade up into the first round, not with their first pick that they got, but use some of their comp picks, trade up and draft Michael.
Yeah, I just want James Pierce.
By the way,
very much.
Anthony DeBona summed up the NFL draft for me. I think me and him almost have the same mock draft.
Yeah, okay. I'm honestly hoping we don't get any Georgia players.
I'm not gonna lie though.
I honestly am.
The last 2 picks on there are absolutely fire though. These 2 towards the bottom.
I can't read that, but
Munden Jr. is an absolute stud, and Dan Jackson's the most underrated guy in this draft by far.
I like Dan
So,
Jackson. I do.
Dan Jackson's a stud. It's literally Cooper DeJean. 2.0.
Well, I mean, okay, that's a little much, but
No,
I
it's
do get
not.
it. I do get the comp a little bit because but all right.
By the way, just because Jake's in here and I feel like showing this.
He played for Georgia, really?
Yeah, I had to show that. All right, moving on. I guess the rest of the guys that I had on this list unfortunately don't get the spotlight. I mean, I didn't want to talk about Darius Slay anyways. You made me a little mad. Oh,
Yeah.
The Browns are getting a new stadium though.
Potentially.
Oh.
$2 billion.
Whoa.
Potentially.
Wow, yo, this is huge.
Yes. No, I
That
saw
thing
it.
is huge.
Wow.
Why,
That's the first
why,
one. Wow.
why the
Is that a dome?
factory? I guess they're getting a new factory of sadness.
Look at that. That thing's huge.
This is a new era, man.
Where do they get
This
the
is a new
money for
era.
that after paying Miles?
The city.
All right.
They're
Taxpayers.
loving that city.
Time for some fun stuff. So this last segment, I kind of made it more fun for us than for anything. Obviously, we're jumping into March, right? I have the games right here listed. Obviously, there's like 1 or 2 games though that we don't know who's gonna fill in the spot in March. But I decided to make up a little fun thing here. We're gonna make a bracket as a team here.
Okay. I like this.
Okay.
All right, we got to do this
I'm gonna be
fast. So there's a
easily
lot of games to go through.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Alright,
be easily persuaded.
We'll do it. We just gotta
Chris,
agree on
Chris,
the answers here, though. We just gotta agree on the
Chris.
answers here.
Are you gonna like share your screen and make this so the fans at home can see?
Would you like to do it?
I can get on that in a sec. I actually had the.
You know what? Go for it. You could do it that way if you wanted. I wasn't thinking about doing it.
You know,
that
whatever
way.
bracket
Hold
we're
on.
making,
I
I'm gonna
just wanna-
submit for my bracket challenge.
I wasn't.
I just want to
wasn't.
confirm, like when we win the bracket challenge, the ESPN, like whatever it is, $1 million or
The money
24
just
ways.
gets split into 4.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Everybody gets equal.
Okay.
Here.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Do we
All
just?
right.
All right.
We're just gonna go through. We're just gonna go through. We're gonna have a good time. Everybody agrees with me here that Auburn's the pick.
I'm just gonna click on the 1 seed.
Well,
for
hold
now.
on. Let's.
No.
let's-
Hold on. No, go up to the top. We might.
Yeah.
change
Hold on.
that.
Hold on.
We might change
Alabama
that.
State.
You
I'm
know
telling
what?
you, there's something
All
about
right,
them.
everyone,
They hit
we'll
a
go-
crazy
we'll make it
game-winning
this way.
shot today. By the way, they hit like a Christian Leitner type shot
Listen,
to
we'll do
win
it
the
this way.
game. It was
Everybody
crazy.
agrees on Auburn, correct? Yes.
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 Okay, it's a consensus. Who do we have in the Louisville game?
Louisville.
50-50. I think Creighton. They made
I
the
think
final in the
Creighton.
tougher conference.
I think
Both teams are in a
Creighton-
bit of a win. Well, minus the conference final
So,
loss.
Gabe, make your pick here because if we get a 50-50 out of it,
Louisville is hot.
he says
I think
Louisville.
Creighton's
Jake,
good too, though.
All right.
I see Big East. I go Big
who do
East.
you say, Jay Creighton?
I mean, 50-50. I was a big Crane guy last season, but 50-50, I'm persuaded easily. So
We'll take
I'll
your
go
pick,
Louisville.
Creighton.
I'll go Louisville.
Yeah.
Louisville, Gabe.
I'm leaning Creighton, but I'm fine with Louisville. I'm honestly fine with either here.
All right, no Creighton for me then.
All
All
right.
right. Next
Louisville.
up, we got the Michigan.
All right,
game.
let's not play games here. Everybody has been picking UC San Diego, and when everybody picks a
I
Cinderella,
don't
it's
think
just
that's the
automatically
upset.
not going to happen.
I think it's Michigan.
Yeah.
I go Michigan.
You know what? I like that take, Gabe, because I've also taken UC San Diego in all my brackets. First off, fork up for UC San Diego. Second off, and Gabe knows this. I love this Michigan team. I'm glad that America is going to get to see this team. I'm glad they won the Big Ten. 2
I think
7-footers.
Michigan's the pick here.
Yeah. Watch
Okay.
out for the 7-footer from who actually went to Yale
All right.
last season.
We got
Danny Wolf.
A&M
Could be
and
a
Yale.
second round matchup, by the way.
A&M and Yale.
Yale.
I wouldn't be mad at
Give
an
me
upset
Yale.
here, but I'd lean A&M just because they have 8 seniors on their roster,
I'm
and
going
Ray
with
Taylor
A&M
the fourth
as
is really
well.
good.
Texas A&M was the worst. Had the
I'm
worst
going with
field goal
A&M as
percentage
well.
of any
Yeah,
team.
they
in
can't shoot the
SEC.
ball at all, but they can
Yeah.
play defense and they can get rebounds. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Yale doesn't turn the ball over. So, and
They
they're
also can
also
shoot.
a really good offensive rebounding team.
Jake, they both said Yale. What are you doing?
Well, no, I'm
Listen.
sticking Texas A&M, but if it's Yale, I'm not mad
Texas
at that.
A&M, Jake.
I'm going Texas A&M here.
A&M, that's A&M's the pick then.
Damn. All right.
It's 3-on-1. All right, this is where I'm going with my upset. I don't think it's UNC. I think San Diego State wins, and San Diego State's beating Ole
Well,
Miss.
It's not looking too hot for you right
Yeah,
now.
I was gonna say, Chris, sorry to burst your bubble, but UNC is up by 20 right now in the first.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to change your
Um,
pick?
Actually,
I'm still going UNC here. I'm going the 11 seed.
are they actually up by like 20?
Yeah,
Yes.
and they're hot right now. They just made the
They're
conference
33 to
final,
14.
and they only lost to Duke by
No.
like 3 points.
No.
Yeah, I mean Duke without their best player, but yeah, I'm going.
I'm not gonna
That's
hear
still
the
Duke.
end of it.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going Carolina.
Well,
I mean,
I'll
I don't
still
think they
pick
deserve
UNC,
to.
though. Ole Miss stinks.
I don't think they deserve to get in, but I mean, UNC is UNC. Like they're gonna beat Ole Miss. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah,
I
Temple,
agree.
Temple,
All right,
played,
UNC 's
Temple
the
played
pick
Ole Miss
there.
close. Like no chance.
All right, Iowa State, no questions asked.
Actually, there is a question. Iowa State is without their best player throughout the
Are?
tournament. He's out for the entire tournament, and you know, you look at Lipscomb. I mean, they've beaten some good teams. They beat I mean, they only lost to Arkansas by 16, which is a W in my book. But
All right, you're not helping your case here. Just get them.
I'm going Lipscomb.
Jake.
I'm going.
We need at least one upset. I'm going Lipscomb.
This isn't the upset yet.
Yeah, I don't think this is the pick.
There's
Denzel
gonna be a lot
Allen-
of
Now it's a
upsets this year. Just you wait.
50-50.
This is not the. That is not the shot for this moment, Denzel Valentine. I'm going
You know
Iowa
what, Ben?
State.
Now you're gonna open up another tab. Ben, do a flip a coin. Me and Jake me and Gabe are on tails. You guys got
Yeah,
heads.
every time, no, every single time there's a 50-50, Ben has to open up another tab, so he has to keep this one open up here because I already
Alright.
see he has a lot
We're
going on
tails.
there.
This is the
We're
bottom.
tails, Gabe.
Okay, it's Iowa State.
Ah!
I'm gonna do the top team is heads, the bottom team.
Okay,
is
yeah,
tails.
that's easy. That's
So
easy.
Iowa State. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, Marquette, New Mexico. Give me New Mexico.
Give me
This
New
is
Mexico.
so
No.
50-50.
No.
Give me the Lobos.
Mexico is-
That's my NCAA 25 team.
Bro.
They're gonna win at least one.
New Mexico has one of the best guards in the
Yeah,
country.
I'm not gonna lie. This is like kind of weird, but I actually have a New Mexico hoodie.
That's great.
It's only because my
Temple's
family
best player
members live
transferred
there and they
from
gave
New
it to me as a
Mexico.
gift, though. I'm not a New Mexico fan. They just gave it to me as a gift. I'm
We
still
gotta
rooting
be-
for Marquette, though. Give me Marquette.
Yo, we got to be rooting for New Mexico. They gave us our best player this year. That is
No,
Temple.
Gabe.
Sure.
Give me New Mexico. Give me New Mexico.
I'm leaning Marquette, but I'm definitely okay New Mexico. They're coached by Hurley.
How
So
can you eliminate Marquette already?
wait, Hurley or Patino?
All right. Michigan State, easy pick. Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Florida, easy pick. Move on.
Florida.
Oklahoma.
I gotta pick UConn. They just have that
I'm
experience.
also going UConn here.
They have the experience.
Better coach.
Coach talks too much. Give me Oklahoma.
Jake.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Oh, coin.
New tab.
New tab.
No, don't do a new tab. Just do the same tab.
No. This is how we're doing. it.
Okay.
No! Oh wait,
Oklahoma.
yeah. Let's go.
Okay. Okay,
thought
we
it
all
was
know
going
who.
the
This
wrong
is
way
an
for
easy
a minute.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
an easy one.
Wait, are you?
I do
Arthur,
not
you
trust
actually
this
picking
Memphis
Colorado
team
State?
in
Colorado-
the slightest.
Jake, are you picking
Colorado's-
Colorado State?
First of all,
Yeah.
Wait,
They-
all right, never mind.
their
Don't even try.
favorites-
I already lost.
Their
Lost.
fa-
Doesn't matter.
Colorado State has won 9 of their last 10 games by an average of like 16
I
points.
already
They're on
Yeah.
lost.
fire.
Okay.
Ben and I on
me-
WHIP Radio, we talked about how Memphis is the most.
Give me my
inconsistent-
biggest upset yet, though. I want Grand Canyon.
No.
No,
You're not
Fab
having
Five.
that. No
Fab
chance.
Five.
No
Yeah.
chance. This Maryland team is
Big
disgusting.
Six.
Maryland.
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 Yep. Okay. Thank you. Give me the
Missouri.
Drake.
I want Drake.
Give me the
Okay.
Drake
Drake.
Bulldogs.
No.
Give me
They're
Drake.
gonna
Missouri.
slow down the pace of the game. Missouri can shoot the ball, but Drake is gonna kind of slow him
Hey,
down.
there's
a
no
little
way you're
bit.
picking Drake too.
Yeah, I'm going Drake.
Drake.
Jake.
They're 30-3, I think, on the year.
Drake's about to take their only W of the last year and a half.
Jake. Missouri.
If you catch my drift.
Drake's been hot, dude. Drake's been hot.
Oh my God.
I'm going Drake.
I like this. Yeah, I
Third
like
pick in
this
a
lot.
row. I've been by myself. Texas Tech.
They are such an underdog team, I feel like. I mean, obviously they're the 3 seed, but in this bracket, there's so much going
Yeah.
on. I love Texas Tech.
Yeah. Give me.
Texas
I
Tech.
love the story of Unk, but give me Texas Tech.
All right. Arkansas.
I mean, I feel like Kansas is. They've struggled all season, but the talent is there. That roster is so talented.
I
gotta
didn't
go
realize Hunter
Kansas.
Dickinson was still there.
I honestly think Kansas can make a little bit of a run. If that's a hint to some of my future predictions in this bracket, but
Arkansas.
I'm going Kansas.
Ben, here's my problem with that, though. Kansas has never made it past the Sweet 16 when ranked as the preseason number 1. I saw that today. However, I do have them getting past Arkansas in this matchup.
No. Jake.
I want to see another Ben tab. Let's get another coin flip going.
Tails. Yeah.
Arkansas.
Yes.
All right, Arkansas it is.
St. John's.
Yo, shout out to the trash can bangers, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Sixers.
It's a fun story.
By the way, I'm just telling.
Duke.
Yo, bet Omaha to cover the spread. Just
Duke.
telling.
That's a crazy spread.
Easy pick, Duke. Move on.
Yeah, Duke. Yeah.
Baylor.
Give me Mississippi State. I wish I as a Duke fan,
Ben
I
loves
want
going
Baylor
against
to
me
win
on
that
this
game.
already.
But give me Mississippi
You're
State.
really enjoying going against me today. I'm going with Baylor.
I'm going Baylor
Jake.
too.
Coin flip.
I'll go Baylor. I'll go Baylor.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, hear me out.
Oregon.
Give me Liberty Bibberty.
I have Liberty as well. I think this is an upset. They shoot the ball really well.
Oregon. Jake.
Just not from the free throw line, which is really concerning. But they shoot the three really well.
Jake, give him the
Look at
coin
that
flip.
defense. Look at that
I'm
defense.
going- I'm going Liberty.
Yeah. Look at that defense.
Arizona.
I think this is a trap game, but I have Arizona by a
That's a
narrow
lot.
margin. Akron also shoots the ball really well.
Oh, Akron to cover that. Oh my God. I'm
Yeah,
about
I
to bet
have
so
that
many
too.
covers this week, I feel like. But I shouldn't, but I feel like I want to. I'm going
Arizona's
Arizona.
the pick.
Yeah.
Give me
BYU's the next pick.
Give me VCU. Easy.
I think
Easy
VCU
W.
is a big. They're getting a lot of noise here. I'd like BYU though. I think they're above 500 against top
BYU.
25 teams.
BYU. Jake.
VCU is disgusting.
That's-
If we don't pick VCU to win this, then this is just a fake bracket, bro.
I
actually-
don't know.
Let's
BYU
get
is
another
good against
Ben
the
tab.
better team.
Let's get another Ben tab.
Okay.
No.
Ple-
I'm gonna lose one of them one of these times.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Ben,
won
I
every
like
single one.
VCU. I just like
Wisconsin.
BYU in this matchup better.
Okay,
Former
Wisconsin.
Zach
yeah.
Baldwin College.
Why is
Wisconsin.
Montana at 14? Bro, this committee needs to like fix themselves. Montana should not be a 14.
Give me
seed.
Vanderbilt.
St. Mary's
me
plays
St.
so
Mary's.
slow, but I think it's gonna work.
Give me St. Mary's. Yeah.
St. Mary's.
And
Bama, easy.
Bama.
Bama.
Houston. Give me the Zags.
Yo!
Easy.
Give me
Lord,
Gonzaga
yeah.
by a million. I love them.
Give me
I love them
Gonzaga
in this
by
game.
100,000.
Chris, let's
Are
see.
you out of your
Chris,
mind?
You're picking against your team.
Do you know who Asanul is?
Dude, you
Oh my
can't win with
God.
one player.
Come on.
He's
Gonzaga
literally
Yeah,
the
there's
top
also-
pick in
that's a
the
lost
free
next
throw
round.
line. This
for
is
the
a recipe
last
for
one.
success. They shoot the ball so
Jake,
well.
who are you picking, Jake?
Gonzaga.
Yes.
I can't
There it
believe
is.
any of you.
Great pick,
I
Jake.
can't believe any of you. I can't believe
Dude,
any of you.
this
Unbelievable.
game is I think is gonna make me
No,
lose sleep
unbelievable. Now the
because-
bracket's ruined. Now the bracket's ruined.
because this game right here, this next one,
Bracket is not
I-
good.
if
Clemson.
McNeese was facing any other 5 seed, I'd pick them. But Clemson is so disgusting, and they have a lot of their team from last year. Give me Clemson.
Clemson, easy pick. Purdue.
Yeah.
Well,
Clemson.
okay, Clemson.
I like
High
High
Point?
Point in this.
High Point
High
though.
Point is really efficient.
High Point though. I'm picking High Point though.
I'm going High
we need a
Point.
couple upsets.
High
Oh
Point.
my god. Illinois.
Give me Xavier.
I
if
like
they win.
Xavier. I also really like Xavier in this matchup. And there's always, I mean, we already picked UNC, but there's always an 11 seed that's in the round of the first four that moves past the round of 64. I like Xavier to make a run this year.
I do as well. Also,
Mm.
Caroline is only up 16 now. Or wait, no, 18.
Let's-
They just scored
Let's
again.
get another
But-
Ben coin flip.
Oh, coin flip. Okay.
Jesus,
Okay.
sir.
All right, at some point, I think we do
Illinois,
need to go back to the original
Illinois.
tab because your computer's
Heads.
just going to crash.
Heads. Yeah, baby.
Well,
Okay, you know what? I'm not too mad about it.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah, watch Troy in this upset, but Kentucky. Yeah.
UCLA.
I have Utah State.
Utah State. Give me
Jake.
Utah State.
I'm going Utah
UCLA.
State.
Okay. And Tennessee.
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 All right, we're on to the
Alright.
second round. Give me Louisville.
Auburn.
Give me
I don't
Louisville.
mind Louisville in this matchup, but I'm going Auburn.
Give me Louisville. We can't have all our one seeds in
Jake,
the Sweet
don't you even
16.
dare make this a coin flip.
I want to make it a coin flip.
All right, I'm closing some of my
Yeah,
tabs.
If
yeah,
I
just-
lose this
yeah.
coin, Jake, if this is the coin flip I lose, I'm gonna be so mad.
Oh my god, bro, that's
Wow.
crazy. Okay, give me Michigan though.
I
Give
like
me
Michigan
Michigan.
in this matchup.
Give me Michigan at
Mi-
least.
Yeah, I like Michigan.
Michigan.
Give me Unk. I hate this, but give
I'm-
me Unk.
I'm leaning Iowa State, but I'm
No.
not mad at you.
Iowa
Iowa.
State doesn't have their best player. You guys have to like.
They're also a very good all-around team. Very
They're not
well.
going to be able to score. They're not
They're
going to be
good
able to score.
defensively.
Give me Unk.
Iowa.
I think Iowa State shoots like 37% from three. It's like
Jake.
pretty high up there.
I'll go Unk.
Iowa.
Okay, coin
a-
flip again.
Flip.
This is going to be tails, isn't it? Of course it is. Okay, well. Give me New Mexico.
Michigan.
I like Michigan State here. It's Izzo. It's Izzo's month.
I'm doing another coin flip.
Can we win one? Can we win one, Jake?
I don't mind New
I
Mexico.
gotta
in this
keep going with the
matchup either,
Lobos,
though.
bro.
No! What is this? Okay,
Florida.
Give me Florida, bro. Give me Florida. Florida's a wagon. Florida's a wagon.
Florida's
go for it.
nasty.
I like Maryland.
Maryland.
I like Colorado State, but I'm going to go Maryland. I'm going to go Maryland.
I do like Colorado State. I just don't like this
Texas
matchup for them.
Tech.
Give me Drake. Give me the upset here. There's got to be a
Texas
double-digit
Tech.
seed that makes. We got to
I
have a
really think
double-digit
Texas
seed.
Tech is under the radar, and I have a double digit down the line. I'm going Texas Tech here.
Texas Tech.
I'll go Texas
Really good
Tech.
shooting team.
St. John's. Don't pick Arkansas. If
Arkansas.
if it was the other team, if it was Kansas,
Arkansas.
I would give it a question. But
Jake,
Arkansas is just
Jake,
not
ride with
good.
me on Arkansas so we get a coin flip.
St. John's, bro. I can't risk that.
Jake, ride with me.
No, I'm St. John's.
No.
I mean-
So well coached.
Dude.
Duke.
I like Liberty to give Arizona
Liberty.
some trouble, but I have Arizona moving on here.
I have zone to 2. Give me Caleb Love versus Duke.
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I
Wisconsin.
also have Wisconsin.
Yup.
Bama.
I think this is such a tricky matchup because St. Mary's plays at a really slow pace and Alabama is just like run all 40 minutes. But I think Bama sneaks by.
I think
Bama.
even Bama could win slow. If Bama speeds up this game, I think St. Mary's is screwed. So I'm going Bama.
Sure.
Bama.
Bama.
Georgia.
Give me,
Alright.
give me the
Now, I have-
Zags.
Give
give
me
me the
I have
Zags.
Gonzaga upsetting Houston.
Give me the Zags.
I
Give me
love this
Georgia.
matchup for Gonzaga.
Give me the
Houston.
Zags.
Houston.
I'm going Gonzaga.
Yes,
Wow.
there it is.
They get
Gonzaga's
upset.
not that
We
good.
need that upset.
Chris, look at
Clemson.
after this. Look up some
You
advanced
could have
stats for
had that
Georgia.
upset with
or
Georgia, by the way.
Gonzaga. Clemson.
I
Right now.
actually, High Point is really efficient from the field. I have them as my double digit moving on to the Sweet 16.
I mean,
But
I
Clemson
have
is really good. Clemson is really good.
I
Give me
have Clemson.
Clemson.
They have a ton of experience from last
Jake?
season.
I'll ride with Gabe here. Let's get a quick
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose this one again. Here we go.
No, you're on my side.
Oh yeah, I am on your
Okay,
side. Let's
okay.
go.
Thanks for swing.
All
the
right.
coin flips for
Give me-
me.
Give me
Kentucky.
the Fighting Illini. I don't trust this Kentucky team. at
Yeah,
all.
I'm right there with you. Give me Illinois.
What? Coin
Yeah,
flip again,
Illinois.
Jake.
No, Illinois.
Tennessee.
Yeah, give me Tennessee. I love Utah State, but give me Tennessee. And I also
Sweet
hate them.
16.
Wait. Do you guys agree with Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go
Yeah,
with
Easily.
everyone agrees with Tennessee.
Give me Michigan.
Auburn.
Michigan is one of the
Auburn.
teams that can defeat Auburn. They have 7-footers that
Auburn.
play
No,
active
here's
minutes.
my problem. I think they're running out of gas a little bit. They played they won the championship game. I think
Jake.
Auburn
Hey,
did they
North
make the
Carolina.
championship?
North Carolina made the Final Four last year,
Jake,
playing like
ride
6
with
days
me.
in a row in the ACC
Auburn.
tournament.
I just trust Auburn here. Very good scoring team.
I think
Ben, I also like Michigan, man. Let's coin flip it out.
Cooked. You're
Can
cooked.
I get one. Tails.
You're cooked.
You're kidding me. Chris has won every single one.
Yes. Yes.
I-
Give me Michigan State.
Yeah.
MSU.
Michigan State.
Yeah, I'll go Michigan State.
Florida.
right. Give me Maryland.
No. You're
I
out
have
of here.
Florida.
I love
have them
Florida, but
guaranteed.
I just want to pick something
Florida
crazy. So give me
was
Maryland.
The best out of the whole SEC, which was the hardest this year.
It was
Yeah,
by
I'll
far
go.
the best conference.
I'll go Florida.
Florida.
Give me
I have Texas Tech.
Texas
give me
Tech.
Texas Tech. Give me
St. John's
yeah.
can't score with them.
Yeah.
Duke.
Yeah, Texas Tech.
Give me Duke. Duke has such an easy path, by the way. Like Duke is a lock for the Elite Eight. Give me
Wisconsin
Wisconsin.
just barely lost
Wisconsin.
the Big Ten. I have Wisconsin taking down Bama.
Give me
I like
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin here.
Wisconsin.
Give me Clemson. Clemson.
I have Gonzaga advancing to the Elite Eight. I just think they're such a good scoring team, and they were
Jake,
so good in
Clemson.
the beginning of the year.
Give me
Let's do a coin flip a game. I wanna
Oh,
do
yes.
this.
There it is.
That means Gonzaga's cooked. You heard it here.
Okay.
This is
Very
crazy.
good.
Hey,
Give me Tennessee. Give me
I have
Tennessee.
Tennessee here.
All right, the Elite Eight. Give me Michigan
Auburn.
State.
Auburn.
I have Auburn.
Auburn.
That's crazy. Can we clip the Chris cheering on Auburn like that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
whoa.
Auburn. Auburn.
Give me Michigan State.
Auburn.
Jake,
What was Gabe's? Gabe, what was yours?
I went Auburn.
Yeah, I'll go Auburn.
Okay. Give me Florida.
Yes.
Florida to advance.
Florida.
Well, 3-1
Florida,
seeds, I
Duke.
guess. Duke.
Florida and Duke.
I'm
Dude.
trying to see. This is exactly my Final Four.
This is pretty similar to what my
Oh,
Final Four is
Clemson.
going to be.
This is exactly my
like that.
Final
I'm
Four.
going
Alright.
Florida.
Auburn.
I'm going
Auburn.
Florida here.
Auburn. Auburn.
I'm going
Best team in the
Florida.
best conference.
Jake, please. Jake.
Wait,
Jake.
what did everyone pick? What did everyone pick?
They
Florida.
both
Then I
picked
want
Florida.
Florida.
Jake, coin flip. Please. Jake.
Jake, just
Jake.
pick what you actually think is gonna happen, okay? Don't just pick for the coin flip.
Jake. Do it.
I'm
for the
going
pod.
Florida.
It's
I'm
not
going
that far
Florida.
fetched.
Okay.
Jake.
And then
Jake.
I mean,
Jake.
I'm
Change
I'm
it
going
right now. There's still time. Change it
I'm-
for the pod.
Duke.
Jake,
Give me
I will
Duke.
pay you an extra $1 an hour.
I don't get paid.
You will start getting paid. Change the answer. I need
I'm going
you.
Florida. I'm going Florida.
I'm going Duke.
Oh my god.
Duke. Did we all agree on Duke? I think that's like-
Florida winning the Natty. I have Florida.
I have Duke.
Just inferior competition
You
down
know
the
what?
stretch.
Just because I'm mad, give me Florida now.
Yeah.
Just because you
I
made me
think
mad.
I think
You
Duke
made
is
me
by
mad.
far and away.
Florida.
Here's
Jake,
what-
do a coin flip. Jake, pick Duke. That means
What?
Duke's gonna lose. Pick it. Do it.
Yeah. Let's do a coin flip for the final one.
Yeah, now you're cooked. Now
All
you're
right.
done.
Should we? Are we
Send
doing
them
one
to the
coin?
Shadow Realm. I haven't
Wait.
lost the coin flip.
Are we doing one coin flip or should we do a best out of 3 because it's
No,
the national championship?
one.
Okay.
One coin flip. The same way we've been doing it. You're done
Yes,
for. Send them to the Shadow
Tails.
Realm.
Tails.
Yeah, send them to the Shadow Realm.
What's the total points? Like 154? That's what I usually do.
What just happened to Jake?
He got sent to the Shadow Realm, I guess.
Ben, I see
So-
two good scoring teams. I would go a little
Did
bit
you just
higher. I'm
get
going to
sent
the
to the Shadow
160s.
Realm?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that what actually happened?
Yeah, I accidentally closed my tab.
All right.
Guys, my champ was Auburn though.
Auburn is not a bad choice. I don't mind them at all. They lost 3 out of
I
the last
ride with
4. I don't know if I
Broom.
trust them to win this much. Wow, that is exactly my bracket.
Gators.
We just created my bracket.
Well, Gabe, hopefully you're right.
Yeah, no
Gators
chance.
chomping down. Let's go. Well, any final thoughts before we end the pod here?
Here's my final thoughts. You see
Wait,
that
Ben, can you
team-
go down one for me?
you see this team right here?
Can you go
They're
down
going to
one
be the
for me,
national
please?
champs.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna drop a final thought. But
you like the
I'll
names
drop
of
my
my
final
brackets, by
thought
the way?
last, actually. Anybody else have a final thought before I drop mine and then we call it?
Go for it.
Let me just pull up the picture while I'm at it.
Okay.
Here's my final 4.
Okay. The fact that Georgia is going to get curb
They're
stomped
gonna
in the first
stomp
round.
Houston. They're gonna stomp Houston and they're gonna stomp Gonzaga.
Hey,
You'll
hey,
see.
Chris, you want to bet 10
And then
bucks?
they're
That
gonna stomp Clemson.
Chris, you want to bet 10 bucks right now? That Georgia
You'll see.
loses.
You'll see. Just
You want to bet 10
watch.
bucks Georgia loses
Just
in the first round
watch.
right now?
Just watch.
Chris,
Just
I will
watch.
bet you $10 that Georgia loses
We'll
in the
talk
first
more.
round right now.
We'll talk more. We'll talk more. Just watch. Though. Just watch.
I'm watching.
I'm already like what 10 out of 10 on coin flips today. I'm on a heater.
Yeah, that was like honestly really impressive.
The coin loves me. Yes. All right. That'll be it for the episode. Stay hype, stay hungry, keep the frenzy alive.